Good evening and welcome to the June 23rd, 2026 Board of Selectmen meeting. Please rise if able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In the background.
In the corner.
Thank you. Has everybody had the opportunity to review the June 9th meeting minutes? Any corrections? Hearing no comment, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve our last meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. That is a 4-0-0 vote. Let the record reflect that Selectman Bergeron was not able to meet us at 5 p.m. this evening, so he has an excused absence. Is there anybody here this evening for open forum? None of the kids in the back? Anybody want to say anything? No? All right. I will close that portion of our meeting. Next up on our agenda, we have New Hampshire DES, the Asset Management Grant conversation. Is that you?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. My name is Christine Binger. I'm with a company named Verdantis. We're a consulting firm, and we've been working with the town of Pelham on their stormwater asset management program. So we've been working on the development and created a manual and a program that I'm going to review today with you. And I have slides. There we go. Okay, so this is our, they've had the grant now for about a year and a half or so working on this. And so this is our wrap-up meeting to give an overview of what the grant was used for and what was accomplished. So I will, as an agenda, I'll talk a little bit about who the project partners were and stakeholders. I'll give a brief overview of the New Hampshire MS4 program. I'll talk a little bit about what is an asset management program, review what the vision statement was for the program, give you a little overview of the software package that's being used to help manage the data. We'll review some components, roles and responsibilities, and just an overview of how the implementation will be achieved. So project partners, again, New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services provided the grant and a lot of guidance as we went through the process. The town of Pelham is a New Hampshire MS4 community. They have a stormwater system. They do not have sewer or water, but they have stormwater, so that's their primary asset that we're going to review today. And then Verdantis is, again, a general consulting firm doing environmental work, and in this case, working with the MS4 permit and the asset management program. So this is I'm going to just talk briefly about the stakeholders that were identified early in the process. There are internal town stakeholders and external stakeholders. The town has an MS4 committee that work and meet regularly to review stormwater issues, led by Dina Hoffman. There are folks from the Highway Department, Planning Department, Conservation, including yourselves as well as part of the stakeholders providing funding and making sure that the program is implemented. External stakeholders, we have members here today, Sarah and Deb from the New Hampshire DES. That have helped run a coalition program for all the towns in New Hampshire and really help to guide what the towns are doing and how they're focusing resources. Again, we engaged emergency personnel, the Nashua Regional Planning Commission, several pond associations were involved and aware, and then, of course, residents of the town. So just a brief review of stormwater. Folks don't think of it this way, but in urban settings, all stormwater is rushing, over streets and paved areas and picking up oil and grease and any other pollutants in our public spaces. And so all water really does drain and discharge to waters of the United States, ultimately. And if we don't filter it or monitor how it is draining, again, anything that's going down the drain is ending up in a surface water. Ultimately. So we want to make sure that we're filtering properly and have good systems. So the MS4, the New Hampshire MS4 Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System Permit is a general permit that the towns are active and complying with. It's based from the Clean Water Act and the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System program. So it's a US EPA program requirement. The permit, in the case for Pelham, municipal separate storm sewer, and again, historically, a lot of sewer and storm water systems were in the same piping chases, and there was a lot of overlap and contamination, but in this case, you don't have that. You have a stormwater system throughout town in different areas to manage flooding and drainage of roadways. And so the assets of the town in this case are those catch basins, conveyance piping, culverts, swales, all the portions and parts of the system are the assets. The town of Pelham is regulated. There's some gray shading on this map that shows the regulated area. It's usually based on a certain density of population in the town and urban development. So the Clean Water State Revolving Fund was the mechanism for this grant. It provides the USA provides low interest loans and grant programs to assist towns and municipalities. New Hampshire administers the program in New Hampshire. So Pelham had applied for this grant and was using it to prepare the stormwater asset management program. So what is an asset management program? So what we're doing and what we created was a framework. It's a guidance document about how to, it outlines the strategies and financial provisions for managing the stormwater infrastructure for those assets. In this case, we have an asset inventory, a database of all the information, all the different catch basins, all the conveyance piping, where they're located, all mapped in a GIS system. And on the right, you can see a portion of the mapping for Pelham. In the red triangles are all the catch basins. So the database, one purpose of the database is really to track existing infrastructure, track the existence of these features, track their maintenance over time, and then also track problems. So if we can keep track of where problem areas are, where areas of flooding might be occurring, then you're able to really focus resources in the future. So you just have better control of information is one of the goals of having an inventory. And the town purchased, maybe already have had Civic Plus, but Beehive was a portion of the software that really helped bring the data together. So this is a software program that was being used for this asset management, but can also be used by the town for other assets and can be expanded over time. So the vision statement was created early on in the process, and to try to paraphrase this, the goal of creating a stormwater asset management program for the use for the town of Pelham is to create a tool that can be used to inventory the location and condition of stormwater assets and track the condition of the infrastructure over time. Again, the idea is to create a tool. The tool will allow the town to centralize data management, minimize loss of information. When you have turnover in town, you don't want to lose information. Provide access to schedule and maintenance activities. The asset management system will be used as a planning tool to evaluate renewal or replacement investments to the infrastructure and to provide a practical, user-friendly tool for future data integration and analysis. And again, the goal was to use a system that could be expanded over time and be easily managed by the town. So the asset inventory documents the stormwater assets, documents the condition assessment, again, having it all in one place. And then again, Civic Plus is the mechanism. So why did they choose this one? Again, it's a centralized inventory. There's a screenshot on the right trying to give you a glimpse of how you can click into different types of features. All the features and assets are linked to GIS mapping, so everything's geocoded and can be located on a map. And again, that's good for your field staff and the highway department. They can find things in the field with their tablets. Civic Plus Beehive can record and track the inspections and maintenance activities. This system also is good because you can upload photos and documents and any field notes. If you find old maps in an old room, you can upload the old maps and have it all centralized. And then in the future, it can be used to identify data gaps, query certain areas and identify what's missing. And reduces, again, just reduces that loss of information from year to year. So assets are tracked, and again, that over the long term, that will help the town manage drainage issues, drainage structures, flood management, and water quality protection overall. Again, this is just a screenshot, but it shows on the bottom right, you can really see how you can zoom in to a specific area in town, click on the feature, and be able to understand, maybe when it was installed, when it was last inventoried, or when the last maintenance might have been. So it's at your fingertips. And then, of course, having this data management system or asset management helps the town comply with their New Hampshire MS4 permitting requirements. So they have certain requirements to report condition and inspections over time. It improves the coordination between the planning and the highway departments about what might be needed in the future and where to direct resources. And again, it's a major purpose here is to enable proactive maintenance and planning rather than just reactive repairs. Instead of just reacting to something failing, it's better to know that there was some issue coming up or monitored and then be able to deal with it before something catastrophic happens. And again, the data creates a defensible system to support budgeting, grants, and capital planning for the town. So again, you can track what's happening in the town, track where the issues are, and then know where you may need to do some enhancements. Early on in the process, or back in January of this year, we held what we call a level of service workshop. And level of service, really, it was an invitation to all the stakeholders. I mentioned internal and external stakeholders. We had this whole room full of people. We had 2 big groups in this room, and everyone was able to provide feedback and weigh in and give ideas and concepts for how this asset management program should be used by the town. So again, it's your own citizens and associations that were participating. We focused on education and communication, asset preservation and condition, conservation, compliance and enforcement, health and safety, and just service quality. So those are some of the categories that we had people thinking and brainstorming about. And then all of that analysis and information obtained from that group was put into a matrix. It's part of the manual that's going to be on the website. Dina Hoffman's and the stormwater folks are going to make sure everything gets posted. And so we have, again, the level of service. There were short-term goals and there are long-term goals. So all this is documented in this the manual. And it just helps provide the framework for what we're doing. So prioritization of assets, again, being able to find assets that pose the greatest risk to the community or to service and public safety. Having that information in the field is really important to the highway department and the folks that are working in the field, being able to track what they're doing. So overall, prioritization of assets helps to, like I said, direct resources to the most critical needs, reduces the likelihood of emergency repairs because you're trying to get ahead of it. It supports planning, short-term and long-term planning. You're able to better align maintenance activities to line up with what the critical areas are. And it improves transparency for decision makers and stakeholders. And of course, your group here leading the town. So again, not all assets are equally important. Some are working just fine and will last for years and years. Others have a higher focus on more highly critical than others. And I guess this is really a conceptual slide, really to make people understand that with any particular asset, trying to determine what is the risk of failure and what is the likelihood of something failing. And so that's where you really, the more information the town can pull together into this program about the condition, the age, the type of material that things are made out of. Are they clay pipes? Are they PVC pipes? Are they steel culverts? What are they? Are they rusting? Are they collapsing? What's happening? Are they causing damages and flooding? And then having the location, having everything tied to a GIS, a geocoded location, helps people kind of hone in on areas more quickly. So all this information, again, is connected by the database and the program. And having that all information in one place helps, again, life cycle costing. So you can understand the full cost of something, not just that initial, capital investment up front, but what does it cost to maintain it, to clean it every year, to clean it twice a year, to repair it if something happens. So it really helps to better support, realistic capital improvement planning and budget planning for the town, and balancing expectations, with available financial resources. Maybe you don't have all the money you need to do something this year, so you plan it for next year, and you can space things out over time based on their importance. This is just an example from the Asset Management Handbook and Toolkit. The idea that, certain types of pipes, like a metal pipe, might only last 10 to 30 years, whereas some other types of pipes or culverts would last longer. Stormwater, the very last line is what we call stormwater best management practices, or really, retention basins or infiltration galleries, things that help get stormwater into the ground and not running off paved areas. But they themselves need to be maintained. They can get overgrown or clogged up, and then they're not working. So they have a much shorter estimated useful life. But the idea is that anything that you put into the system, you can assign it an estimated lifespan and then be able to track your data by those lifespans. So for funding in general, you have bigger picture of your operational costs, your maintenance costs, and then renewal costs. And those are more your year-to-year, day-to-day costs that you track as a town. But then you might have new work or new projects, new development in the town. So you can track all of that in this system. So as new things are added, so you have your ongoing maintenance of existing features, but then as things get added and are new, they can be added into the system and become part of that inventory. Most of the funding sources for your stormwater system in this town are already existing in your planning department budgets and in your highway department budget. Again, this particular grant came from the CWSRF fund through NHDES. So there are other grants through DES and local and federal grants that could be applied for specific, like installing a BMP or doing some type of capital project. So roles and responsibilities, again, the system, Gina Hoffman and Jen Beauregard for the planning department have been taking the lead on this with Verdantis and giving us access and helping support the town to pull everyone together. There's a lot of folks that are part of the overall picture as far as making sure that funding resources are available. And again, the highway department right now is really taking the lead to, as they're actively working out in the field, they have tablets, they're adding data into the system all the time. So that's super helpful. So really the bigger picture now that the program's been set up and established is, the manual that we've created is a roadmap to the program. It describes all the components and how each component plays into the program and how it is useful. And the program overall should be periodically reviewed. DES recommends that annually you take a look at it. It's a living document, so at any time it could be enhanced or expanded to manage a certain aspect of what the town wants. And then over time, so the real implementation plan at this point in time is to continue to collect data, make data entry, take advantage of any field activities, provide workers with the worksheets and tablets, which the town already has for the highway department, and providing guidance and training, and they have that as well, giving them guidance to collect data. So they're ongoing expanding the system. And then annually, we want to, I'll be working with Dina too to help develop the metrics of key parameters and indicators in the program. What can we extract out of it? How can we do a query every year to kind of see where we are as a kind of a status update every year? And really look at the data to see if there's any particular part of town where there's data gaps or we need to collect more data to fill in the gaps. And then once, the data set is more robust, it's pretty good right now already, but there's some historical data that needs to be added as far as when estimated age and some material types are unknown. So there is some uncertainty, but the more the data set becomes robust, the more able the town will be to use the system to do some analysis to help prioritize resource allocation and focusing on maintenance and repair and replacement. So in the short term, again, 1 to 3 years is continued field work and field data collection, populating missing attributes in the system, integrating asset management into workflows, like into everyday work in the town. You know, people should be aware that there is this database that they can go to as a resource and learn how to use it. And so there was some initial training, and there will be ongoing refresher training on how to use the Civic Beehive system. And then again, the bigger picture goal over the longer term for 3 to 5 years is really to use the system to help prioritize capital planning and budgeting. Refining and really understanding better how long things last, when is going to be at risk of failure, and really trying to estimate future planning for budgeting for repairs or expansion of system components. And so cross-training the town staff. So the planning department's been more involved, the highway department, but there are other departments that could be involved that could be cross-trained so that they could use the system as well. There's more functionality to the system than just the stormwater piece. This communication plan is this is really the development schedule. Just to kind of recap, we started this in September of 2024 with a virtual kickoff meeting, met with Dina and Jen and talked about stakeholders early on in the process. We had that level of service workshop early in January. We kind of went through a lot of the aspects back in 2025 and working with Beehive to really took an effort to get all of the existing GIS data in the MS4 program into the system. So we had to clean the data quite a bit and push it in. And then here we are today for our wrap-up presentation. And the final manual is under review right now with New Hampshire DES, and they're going to provide some feedback. And then we'll be doing a final edit on the manual, and then that will get posted publicly. So that's the wrap-up presentation, just really an overview of the program. So does anybody have any questions or comments?
Board have any questions? Please.
I have one. Is the Beehive database that compatible with the Civic? Two different things. The Civic Plus we're utilizing now for our agendas and meetings and minutes and stuff.
Good question for Dina.
I didn't know if they were even compatible or.
Hello. So, Beehive is under the umbrella of Civic Plus. So Civic Gov owns Civic Plus, and Beehive. So it's all in the same overall software.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Gagnon.
Just real simple. I'm fairly new to the game here. I started to understand more and more as you went on. But probably be best if you do this again to do the communication plan as the first slide.
Okay.
So I understood what all that's happened and then where we are at the point.
Okay.
But in the end, working backwards, I now understand what's happening. So nice work. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Any other comments?
No.
Excellent presentation.
Yep.
Thank you. Excellent work from
All right.
all parties. Let the record reflect that was Ms. Dina Hoffman that spoke earlier.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions, comments? Hearing none. Mr. Rourke, were we looking to take a vote on this tonight or just give a consensus?
I think it's just a presentation and stands on its own. I do know from speaking with Tim Hoffman, it's been very helpful. I was mentioned a couple times that the inventorying and the field inventorying of a lot of the assets was important to finally get our arms around exactly how many culverts and catch basins we have. So I'd also go backwards a little bit, and this is all part of Jim also did a good job identifying that we needed a catch basin cleaning truck that Dina has rode around with. We have a lot better idea of, what ones are getting too much flow into them and debris into them. So overall, I think we're in a much better position stormwater-wise in the last 3 years than we were 3 years ago. So this is all part of that plan. So thank you all who were involved.
Yeah, please.
Just to follow up, Mr. Rourke, the stormwater cleaning truck, I have experience with that in my past roles. Does Pelham have one?
Yes,
we
we
do.
purchased in 2023 or 24 a stormwater basin cleaning truck.
Got it, okay.
Overhead crane truck.
Understood. Okay, and so you were just kind of referencing that it's still in good working
Yeah,
order?
it
we
pre,
have a
pre-
process
yes,
for it? Excellent.
good working order, has 10 to 15 year lifespan. Previous to that, we subcontracted.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Have a great evening. Next up, we're gonna take things out of order just for a quick second here. We're gonna go to the renaming of the former library building. Mr. Rourke.
This is a simple one. As everybody knows, there's been a revitalization of the Pelham Historical Society. There's a lot of energy and forward motion there. They're based out of the old, or for lack of a better term, we call it the old one, but it's the original Pelham Library. That's where they store all our artifacts. They hold their meetings. Selectmen Takesian thought it might be appropriate. A lot of towns have renamed their locations after museums. In this case, Pelham Historical Museum, just so people understand what that building is and might have an interest in checking it out when it's open. I'd ask Selectman Takesian if there's anything to add to that.
No, I would just reiterate that the building really doesn't have a name now, and it is referred to as the old library or the Historical Society building, and it's really not, the Historical Society meets there, and they've done a lot of work to bring forth all the artifacts that were stored in there. They're all on display now. So it's more of a museum than a Historical Society building. So I think if we call it the Pelham Museum, people will understand that we have a lot of artifacts in there. There's a lot of Pelham history in there that is, I can't believe the stuff that we found in that building, but, so, yeah, it would be nice to rename it something so that we're not calling it the old library or the Historical Society building. If we could call it the Pelham, which is Pelham History Museum, or Pelham Museum of History, or something like that.
Oh, the historical museum?
Pelham Historical Museum. Say that correctly.
Is that right?
What do you want? Because we're about to make a motion.
I don't know, whatever makes sense.
And Mr. Chairman, I guess I would ask you and Mr. Rourke, I hate to say this, but do we have a policy for how this plays out? Do we need like 2 hearings to like present a name? How does this work?
Wouldn't
Sorry.
this be subject to the naming of, like, the land naming of the buildings, that ordinance we have? Just in one meeting?
Probably.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. So
We'll consider this the first hearing.
we'll consider this well, can we consider it a public hearing? Does it have to be a
We have
public
to-
hearing?
We
I
can-
think
we
two
can put it off
public
to-
meetings, I
Two public
believe.
meetings.
Yeah, it was really kind of for a discussion to bring it up, and to your point, yes, we should have a public hearing for the
So
naming.
what name are we going with so we can officially make this the official meeting? First meeting, rather. I see Pelham History Museum here. Does that roll off your tongue well?
Pelham Historical Museum?
Pelham Museum of History, Pelham, I don't know.
Is there any input? What did you?
Jackson's got some input.
Do you guys have a little input? The Pelham History Museum doesn't roll well.
How about the historical museum?
Pelham
The Pelham
Historical
Historical
Museum.
Museum?
What do you, all in favor? Hands, please.
I think,
You're asking us to them.
I'm not talking to you guys right now. I'm talking to
We're
the.
not important.
None of us are important in the grand scheme of things.
I like the Pelham Historical Museum,
And there you have it.
and I think we'll refer to it as the museum, the Pelham Museum.
So on July 7th, we'll have our second meeting about this subject, and we'll take a formal vote at that point.
Perfect, thank you.
All right.
Excellent. I think it's a great idea.
Mr. Demers, how are you, sir? I'm well. So we've had some conversation about having automated meeting minutes. Good old AI.
There it is again.
If I may, Mr.
Please.
Chairman, so this As we know, AI-related things are moving rapidly. We've got our policy in place. We find it nearly day-to-day basis. It's becoming more prevalent in the office. And one of the things that we felt it was ideal for would be the meeting minutes. Selectman Gagnon had approached us about it. It's mentioned it to Brian. I know Jen Beauregard had begun a little bit of her own research on that. There's a multitude of reasons we're looking into it, not the least of which is it's just difficult to get recording secretaries that want to listen through these meetings 2 or 3 times, write the meeting minutes. It's kind of a tedious part-time job. I think from listening to some of the presentations, we brought in, I think, 3, if not 4 companies. Is that 3?
3 companies.
Brought in 3 companies. Everybody who was available sat in when they could be available to the presentations. All were very similar. What struck me about all of them is just how much better it seems than having to chase down recording secretaries and things. These systems work off of voice recognition. We download the video and they set the meeting minutes up. They record them. They do it very quickly. They format it the way that we want it to be formatted. They recognize voices over and over again. Their style gets faster and more accurate. It's pretty impressive seeing it. Some of the advantages I had listed in the memo is potentially greater accuracy, faster completion, that's a fact. Consistency, cost savings, which I can get into in a moment. Searchable records, and one of the ways they allow it to do it is when they set up the meeting minutes, the topics can be referred to with hyperlinks to the actual minutes of the video. So if you're following along on your computer or your phone, you can click on the video time associated with that particular period and watch just that part of the meeting instead of having to scrub through it to try and find exactly where they're speaking. So the searchability is important, the reliability is important. Each year for 2026, we had budgeted $13,250 for recording secretaries. It's $25 an hour for the various secretaries. Divided up amongst the planning board, the Board of Selectmen, the ZBA. There's several boards that need official record keepers. Some are lucky enough to have a person like Danielle who's willing to take the meeting minutes out of the goodness of her heart, but most of the time we're paying for it. So the firm we had picked, or vendor we had picked after a consensus was Govably. They're out of Boston, Massachusetts. All of these firms are just getting up to speed on this particular piece of government interaction. However, and Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, these guys are affiliated with a bigger software group.
Not this one, no.
Oh, this one's a different one.
This one's a
Okay.
different one, yeah.
So these guys are strictly focused on this piece of it. The cost, the initial setup fee is $5,000. The yearly fee is $7,500. It increases slightly over the next 2 to 3 years. We would enter into a 3-year agreement, which all of them have an expectation for a multi-year agreement. But we do have an escape clause of 60 days with written notice on it. So we would commit to getting into it for that first year. And then if it doesn't work out or we want to change firms, we can get out with 60 days notice. Obviously, we'd be sacrificing the $5,000 setup fee, but again, that's pretty standard. So my recommendation to the board, and Brian's here for some of the technical questions or otherwise, and perhaps Selectman Gagnon can also chip in. My recommendation is that we move to this style of minute taking sooner than later.
Comments?
I'd love to hear from the board at the moment. The one question I did have, Joe had mentioned it. Danielle, do you volunteer to take minutes?
I do. I do the meeting minutes for the Forestry Committee. I do them for the Agricultural Commission. I do them for CIP subcommittee, and I do it for the Water Commission.
Got it, okay. But you volunteer that time?
I volunteer. I don't get paid for that service.
Oh, excellent.
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
Yep, you're welcome.
No, Mr. Chairman, I'd love to hear everyone else's opinion first, and I can chime in if necessary later.
Charlene, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I just have a question. You said it does voice recognition and based on a video. If you just have a tape, because some of the meetings are not videoed, some of the meetings are just, like the CIP meeting is just a meeting for Agriculture Commission is not videoed. So would that work if it's just a tape?
So if you had like an iPad or something like that, you could record the audio that way. It would be a little bit more set up on our side to, or the person doing the meeting minutes to tell the AI who's basically speaking. It wouldn't be as easy as if we all had separate mics
It's
like this.
significantly more cumbersome if
Yeah.
it's just an audio recording. That's just a fact. Every firm we spoke to had that flaw, for lack of a better term.
But again, if we're having a hard time employing people to do that, those advisory boards, if you will, or informational boards, or they have volunteers that are doing them. I think for boards like ourselves and planning and budget, the ones that are really in the thick of it, this would be pretty beneficial.
I agree. It was just a question.
I suspect, Charlene, like everything involved in AI, within months, they're going to be solving that problem. They were solving problems, Brian. Again, these are all emerging companies on this. Brian would give them scenarios that come in that they're not aware of because they're not into town government, and they would fix it and have it done the next day.
Within the next day or few days.
They would figure it out and have it presentable. Really interesting in the presentations that we were speaking to the actual developers, the guys that were doing it, were speaking to us and asking us questions. I wanted to start charging them for Brian's time because he was explaining scenarios that they are selling as features to other towns right now. So again, I suspect they're going to overcome that audio recording very quickly because other towns don't have the luxury of the video capabilities of this town. So I suspect they'll get to that very quickly.
Do you need to leave?
I do. Madam Chairman.
So I can still talk as chair?
Yeah, you can do,
I'll
it's
just
just
move
not good taste to make a motion. Other than that, you're good. Thank you, guys.
Let the record reflect the chairman has stepped down for the vice chairman to take order.
We were gonna let the chairman make that.
All right.
So the chairman is excused at 5:37, and the vice chair takes over at 5:37. Thank you. Big shoes to fill here. So I guess my comment would be that there is a lot of voice recognition. We talk on our phones and, we tell our phones what to do. I don't see that this is a big problem. I think this is great. I looked at the comparisons that you had based on actual minutes and the AI minutes, and they're right on. So I guess it takes someone to review the minutes, but it takes 20 minutes versus typing them all up again.
Yeah, as an example, to create those AI minutes from beginning to end, it was about 20 minutes for me.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
I have a question. So can you explain to us as well as people watching from home, motions? Motions are very important. So how does it capture the motion? Who would make the motion, second the motion, all in favor? How does that work?
So basically what happens is the AI will automatically understand when somebody says, "Okay, I'll take a motion for," it picks that up, automatically sets it apart from the rest of the minutes. You can click on it. It'll automatically show you the video section of where those minutes were made, and then the recording person would go ahead and just click on who made the motion, who made the second, all in favor, and it would just automatically print out at the end.
That's pretty cool. And then one follow-up question. So when I'm into my minutes under the civics, all I have to do is go to the drop-down box and pull the video, and then it just captures it right then and there for my minutes?
You just have to get a link to the publicly available agenda.
Yep, okay.
And a link to the 5-bit recording,
Yep,
and basically the system does the rest.
perfect.
Right, so I think one of the key things Brian hit on is it actually merges the agenda into the meeting minutes. So it follows along and it breaks down the meeting minutes by the agenda automatically. And when we speak of voice recognition, someone like Charlene or Brett or Danielle that sit on multiple boards, it already knows your voice. It doesn't matter whether you're at the Agricultural Committee or the Board of Selectmen. It knows it's Danielle speaking and it marks it that way. And furthermore, as scary as it may seem, it seems like the more it does the minutes, the better the minutes get and the more it learns and the faster it gets. And I think it will reach a point where it's everything but running the minutes and running the meeting. It's pretty impressive technology.
Will there always be someone reviewing? I mean, we're not going to just take the minutes for granted that AI is correct.
No,
Someone will always
that's
review
a
the
key
minutes?
piece of emphasis, that there will always have to be someone that reads those meeting minutes, and the boards that approve them should really be reading those meeting minutes and not accepting AI at that. So in our case, the Board of Selectmen, I've already talked to Danielle about it. Danielle will be double checking the meeting minutes, making sure the formatting, should be looking at those things, and everybody should designate a person to double check those meeting minutes, and then it's going to be of critical importance that when you take a vote to approve the meeting minutes, someone's read through them.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, and yeah, I guess to talk about that point a little bit, I think you already said this, but just to double down, how long does it take for one volunteer individual to do meeting minutes, from the time it takes to sit at the meeting to doing the documentation and computer work, versus how long to do the same scope of work does it take AI? You said 20 minutes. Does that mean literally you sit down, grab the video, upload the video, correct it all, everything's done in 20 minutes, or just what AI does in 20 minutes?
From the beginning of setting up the agenda to the end, getting the links and everything, it was a 20-minute setup.
Okay, and what would your estimate be, or maybe Ms. Massey-Quinn can answer this too?
Can't speak for
What would,
the time that they put in.
a one meeting take you in terms of sitting at that meeting for 2 hours or so, plus all of the setup work? How long does it usually take you?
Well, it depends what meeting I'm attending. So CIP is fairly quick, so I can get through those minutes in about 45 minutes, but I'm sitting at the meeting
Yep.
for about an hour and a half to 2. Water Commission, about an hour and a half, so that's fairly quick, 45 minutes. Forestry is a little bit
So,
longer.
Do you say the meeting's an hour and a half and then 45 minutes to do the kind of the paperwork?
Yeah,
side of
do
it?
the minutes, because what I do is I attend the meetings and I'll take my hand notes.
Got it.
And then I work off my hand notes, match it up with the tape, make sure the motions are all in order, and then I submit it under my agenda item on my civics.
I think a comfortable rule of thumb when I've been trying, because we have to budget and forecast for these sometimes, so we try to come up with how much does it. Again, Danielle's nice enough to volunteer her time, but the people who don't, we have to know how much to charge and know that we're not being overcharged. So if my memory serves me correctly, we used to estimate about double the time of the meeting. Okay, so that, because if the person isn't at the meeting, they have to listen to the meeting in its entirety. So right there, that time length, usually they'll listen to a section of it, do the meeting minutes, listen to a section of it in real time. Some of them have the capability played a little faster than at normal speed, but it's still, so you can really, by the time they format it, listen to it, double check it, it's about double the time of a meeting. And some of our committees and commissions, which again, it's much of it has to do with the rule of the chairperson of that committee, is some like near transcription level meeting minutes, every word. Some are more towards the spirit of meeting minutes, of just the ideas and the motions. So if it's a board that is technical and really wants a virtual transcription of it, it's at least double the time of the meeting. So a two-hour meeting, we're probably going to take that person 4 hours at $25 an hour. It's a $100 meeting for us to get the meeting minutes.
Thank you, sir. That was very detailed. And I guess just kind of closing out on that thought process, can you, I think you said a little bit that we budget $13,250 a
That's
year.
correct.
And then just circling back, which is already said this evening, the company you're proposing is charging $5,000 for setup fee, which is a one-time fee, shouldn't be annually redone, and then annually on top of that, $7,500. So for that first year, it'll be $5,000 plus $7,500. Then every year after that, $7,500, which is rough estimate about half of what we're costing now.
Yeah, about a $5,000 savings. I will caution everybody, the projections for the 2026 will probably leave that buffer in there of that $5,000, just for those committees that may need an actual human, or prefer a human, or until we can figure out,
How this
you know,
works.
how well this works and whether there are situations that need actually human recorded minutes. So I think you'll see the impact of the savings will be in the 2028 budget.
I think that's very fair, good safety net. That's all I had.
Any other questions?
No.
I just have one more. When AI does the minutes, does it summarize the minutes or does it do verbatim minutes?
So there are 3 or 4 different levels right now. There's the brief, there's it's like there's a middle ground, then there's more detail, and then there's almost like a verbatim. Currently, the vendor's working on the verbatim one. But,
And that's our choice.
and yeah, it's
And the
completely
settings.
our choice per meeting as to how we would like it.
So would we write a policy for what, or is every board going to decide for themselves what they want for minutes? Or will the selectmen decide for every board what they're going to do?
In terms of verbatim, middle ground,
That's
low.
that's a good question, Charlene. I suspect we'll start with the middle ground, which seemed very thorough, which what you presented.
This was the detail.
What
yeah.
what was presented to you was the detail, that's the one we'll be going towards. And then if we have a board or a committee that feels like they're not accurate or specific enough, we can have that discussion. I'm sure we can change the level of detail from committee to committee,
We can.
so.
And we'll always have the video on file anyway. We'll always have the
We
video.
have a 5-bit video, exactly.
All right. Do we need a vote for this, or like, do we just consensus to adopt it, or?
I would prefer, although it's a smaller board tonight, I would prefer a motion from the board and a vote, just so that the other committees understand this is a decision of the board and not a decision of Brian and I.
Do you want to do it tonight with the 3 of us, or do you want to wait until there's 5 of us?
I'm comfortable with the 3-person vote.
Is everybody okay with that?
I'm fine with it. I'll make the motion if you like. Yeah. I'll make a motion to adopt and approve is it the AI, what would you like to call this, Joe?
Govably,
Govably software?
Yep, software.
I will second that.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's a 3-0 vote to accept.
302, right?
302.
I guess.
Thank you.
All right, excellent.
Why is it a 2?
Yeah, I think it's
two
just
It's not here,
3-0.
it's just 300.
There's no abstaining or otherwise.
Yeah,
It's a
that's-
3-0, I
It's
think.
300.
Yes, 300.
Okay.
My mistake. Sorry for that confusion.
That's all right.
Thank you, Brian, for doing all this effort. I know he kind of included me and kept me on the cuff of what was going on. It was very fascinating, but Brian handled a lot of the work and the setup and the scheduling, and Joe was there. So well done. I think this is a great opportunity and asset for Pelham to have.
Great to bring it forward, both of you. Thank you.
Right.
All right, do we want to discuss the 250th dinner?
I'd like to change the date. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
Just really give J&J a curveball.
We'll do it next year.
No, ma'am. I'm all set.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions, or?
No.
I know a little bit about it. I know that we have set a budget, and we've set 300 tickets that we hope to sell. And we are starting to ask for outside donations to help us with the cost.
I think it'd be worth mentioning the date again.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it'd be worth mentioning the date of the event again.
Oh, the date is September 12th. I believe it's going to be on the Parks and Rec website, and we'll start to see posters around town for publicity. Tickets will be purchased through the Selectmen's office and through Parks and Rec. And I think that we are taking credit cards for tickets. Joe?
I'd assume so. I don't see why not.
Through Parks and Rec.
Right, the funds would then be transferred into an expendable trust.
Right. Yeah, none of this is going to be taxpayer money. This will all be through raised donations and ticket sales. The dinner is a roast beef haddock buffet with all the inclusions. There will be a cash bar. You'll need a wristband to get in. That's how we're going to control the people coming in. And I think that's all that I can give you right at the
Some
moment.
entertainment is
Oh, there'll be a
included.
band. Yeah, we haven't secured the band yet, but we have a couple of leads on bands.
And Madam Chair, I know last time we talked, we had the flyer and there was a slight change to that flyer we wanted to make. Did that all get taken care of, and is that flyer public now? Can we start sharing that?
I think it is public,
Okay.
as far as I can tell. I know some were delivered to Jay's shop, so.
Excellent. Okay, good. I will
Yeah,
help
and the
share that
tickets,
around.
the tickets should be available soon. I think Danielle was getting ready to order them.
Yes.
Excellent, okay.
That was a great update.
It came, I can't believe that it came through,
Yeah, but
but
that was a great update. Right, remember.
Jay kind of threw it out there, and then we just kind of ran with it. So it just kind of all gelled last week, so it's good. All right, does anybody, we'll start with Danielle, Selectmen reports.
Saturday, we have the farmer's market from 10 to 1. And then I know after the farmer's market's done, or between the hours of 10 to, is it 2? That the newly named, soon-to-be newly named Pelham Historical Museum is also open. But it's nice to go hand in hand with the farmer's market, so that's all I got.
That's it?
That's it.
I have just a couple of things I want to say. The first concert is Wednesday at 6 o'clock on the Village Green.
That's tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
Excellent.
Week is flying by. Yes, that is tomorrow. The band is Andy Ducharme, All Day Fire, I think he's called. Starts at 6 o'clock. The VFW will be there again selling hamburgers and hot dogs and a couple of other vendors. There is, the library has their summer reading program sign up. And if you sign up for the summer reading program, you get a free ice cream. And the Rockland Bank is coming, and if you read 10 books over the summer, I think you get a $25 into your piggy bank that they will open a bank account for you. So that's a nice addition to the kids to encourage them to read. Fireworks are Saturday. Our Independence Day celebration is Saturday on the Village Green. It starts at 6 o'clock. In the event of rain, it will be Sunday, but it really takes a hurricane to not have the fireworks. The last year or the year before, it was raining and we had fireworks. It's hard to get the vendors to commit to 2 days, so we have everybody lined up for Saturday, so we do the best we can to have it Saturday because it's just too hard to get everybody back on Sunday. So, but if you watch social media, then you should see that whether it's postponed or not. I think the Pelham Community Spirit page on Facebook will let you know. But you can pretty much count that they're going to be on Saturday, unless it's torrential rains. The Historical Society met, and they had about 20 members present. They are organizing with new bylaws, looking forward to setting up committees to accept donations and figure out where they're going with their future. And like Danielle said, the building is open on Saturdays from 10 to 2 at the same time as the farmer's market is open. And the farmer's market has generously offered us a table to be over there, so we may be over there selling our wares. We have some items left over from the 250th, from Pelham's 250th celebration. We have a book called Reflections that has a lot of Pelham history in it. It's a really, really nice book. We sold a lot of them 30 years ago, and we're hoping that there's a new generation of people in Pelham that would be interested in purchasing this book to learn about the history of Pelham. It's called Reflections, and it's available either at the museum or at the farmer's market, if our table is there. Another event this week is the Hobbs flag is in sad disrepair, and so the VFW has generously purchased a new flag for them, and that flag raising will be Thursday at 11 a.m. in the morning if you're interested in coming to see the new flag being raised. And on Thursday evening, there's a Bluebird, the Bluebird Society is dedicating a, I think it's a Bluebird house to Joyce and Bill McDivitt in the Hobbs Celebration Park, and that is Thursday night at 7 p.m., if anybody's interested in attending that. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Some good events coming up. Thanks for publicizing those. So for me, the top of the hour here, fairly important. I did receive word today from our community power consultant, ECM Power. She originally, I will say originally, which was changed, said that Liberty asked the Power Utility Commission of New Hampshire to raise their rates from, I believe it was like 10 or 11 cents to 21 cents a kilowatt
They're
hour.
at 13 right now.
So almost double. Now, before everyone freaks out, good news is they didn't get that. I've heard from Emily that Liberty was approved for 15.8 cents. Let me pause there and remind people our community power program offers energy at 11 cents a kilowatt hour for 6 months. A big part of this, not to bore people, but a big part of that increase that Liberty was asking for is that they charged energy prices for the last 6 months that were under what they were buying energy for. So they were selling energy at a loss. And so now, from my layman understanding, they have a debt. And so now they need to charge what the energy costs plus recoup their debt. And so they're juggling how to do that. And that's what the Public Utility Commission helps to do, so it doesn't put a huge burden on the residents. Still, Liberty is at 15.8 cents, and our community power is at 11 cents. You can opt in or opt out at any time you please. So see if you can save a little money. Just to finish that thought, as an example, a house that uses 1,000 kilowatt hours per month, which is give or take average, with Liberty at this price would be $158 a month. With the community power program, it'd be $110. That's a $48 savings per month if you were on the community power program each month for a couple months until we reinitiate our contract as well. Other than that, you stated a lot of good things. I think I have nothing further to add. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good work on the community power thing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Rourke?
Nothing, thank you.
All right. Having no other business come before the board, we have no reason for a non-public session tonight, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's a 3-0-0 vote. Good night, Pelham.